In the movie Minority Report, actor Tom Cruise plays a cop who prevents crimes by stopping them before they ever happen. Remember this?
What's coming? Double homicide, one male, one female. Killer's male, white, 40.
Set up a perimeter and tunnel on route. I'm placing you under arrest for the future murder of Sarah Mark.
Now, one scientist says he's on the verge of developing technology with a similar purpose, a brain scan that can predict criminal behavior before an illegal act ever takes place. How might this development change our justice system? Ken Keel is the neuroscientist who led this study. He's an associate professor of psychology and neuroscience at the University of Mexico, and he joins us this morning from Albuquerque. Ken, nice to see you this morning.
Hi, thanks very much for having me.
Why did you set about to do this type of research? What did you hope to accomplish?
Well, the criminal justice system has to make extremely difficult decisions every day about how to determine if an inmate is ready for release, under what conditions to make that release. And so the federal judges that I work with and doing education with them about science in the courtroom, they have this problem. They really want to understand what's the best way to understand risk. And so this study was motivated to try to help understand what are the brain systems that might convey risk, in the future.
So you studied 96 male felons who have a record, of course, and you used brain scans. Yeah. And you found some interesting information when you looked at these 96 felons. Tell our audience about this.
Well, impulsivity, for example, is a construct that tends to predict recidivism. So I could have you fill out a pen and paper test and tell me about your impulsivity, or I could have you do some games that might tell me a bit about how impulsive you are in your decision making. But what we did in this study was we actually went in and measured brain function using an MRI scanner while the inmates were doing a task that engaged those impulsive brain systems. And what we found was that when we followed them up out 4 years, is that the brain scan actually predicted better than any other measure, the brain scan measure of impulsivity, who was going to reoffend versus who was not going to reoffend.
So is there a potential then for law enforcement to use this to predict crime? Under what circumstances might an individual be forced by the government, I suppose, to be put on some sort of MRI to find out if they are likely to commit a crime again? And could this lead to them being held in prison, released from prison early?
Well, I think it's a little premature to try to be using this already in law enforcement, but it was the first time that we've been actually able to use a brain scanner to predict recidivism. Our real goal or hope for the work is that because we found systems that we think we can kind of increase or fix or repair, if you will, that there might be some really neat avenues for different treatments that could be developed that could help then remediate the chances that the offender might reoffend when they get out.
Could you come to our studio and predict accurately whether or not Tucker, Allie, and I will eat pastry later in the show?
I might be able to show which one of you likes pastries the most, but actually predicting, yes, that's one of the things that we've been trying to do.
It is impulse control around here. Ken, fascinating research, and keep us up to date on this. If you want to read more about this story, go to TheVerge.com. They've got a great write-up about it. Ken Keel from Albuquerque, thanks so much. Coming up here on the show,